stomach ailments, so they get diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, died, shaheed. Wal-ghariq, the one who drowns, the flood comes, people drown, shuhada. Wa-sahibul hadmi, and the one who dies in a smashed building, so the wave comes, smashes up the building, people die, shaheed. Wa-shaheedu fi sabilillah, and one who dies is hurting himself in the way of Allah. Shuhada. So they're in eternal bliss. And for this world, some people, they think Allah Ta'ala is unjust because in this world He caused the person to suffer. What is this world? If you put the life of this world on a line that stretches from the beginning of time when Allah created the heavens and earth to the rest of eternity, khalidina fiha, dwelling therein forever, abada, forever, and you put the 190, 80, 60 years we spend in this world on that line, would you be able to even find those 100 years? From the beginning of time to eternity, you wouldn't even be able to find it. There's no known way to measure it. But for that little dot, someone will jeopardize the rest of eternity. Little dot, 5 minutes of pleasure. It's 5 minutes of pleasure to smoke this or squeeze on that or whatever the case might be. 5 minutes of pleasure jeopardize the rest of eternity. What a wicked exchange the oppressors have made. How can exchange eternal bliss for 5 minutes of pleasure in a lifespan that couldn't even be measured if you compared it to eternity. La ilaha illallah. But we don't think. So he says, dealing patience and dealing with those painful things and tribulations. وَتَجْتَمِعُ الثَّلَاثَةُ كُلُّهَا فِي الصَّوْمِ. And he said all three varieties of patience are found in fasting. فَإِنَّ فِيهِ صَبْرًا عَلَى طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ. It contains patience in dealing with the hardship coming through the obedience of Allah. وَصَبْرًا عَمَّا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَى الصَّائِمِ مِنَ الشَّهَوَاتِ. And the patience in dealing with the hardship coming and avoiding those things that Allah has forbidden from the fasting person from carnal appetites. وَصَبْرًا عَلَى مَا يَحْصُلُ لِلصَّائِمِ فِيهِ مِنْ أَلَمِ الْجُوعِ وَالْعَطَشِ وَضَعْفِ النَّفْسِ وَالْبَدَنِ. And the patience in dealing with the hardship that comes through the fasting person from the pain of hunger and thirst and physical languidity and weakness of the body. So he goes on. We want to move on to his other understanding based on the third narration of the hadith. A beautiful saying here. So he says, وَأَمَّا عَلَى الرِّوَايَةِ الثَّالِثَةِ, that every action is an expiation. لِكُلْ عَمْلٍ كَفَّارَ الصَّوْمُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. It wipes out the sins. فَقَالَ فَالْإِسْتِثْنَاءُ يَعُودُ إِلَى التَّكْفِيرِ بِالْأَعْمَالِ. Here the exception is not from the deeds being multiplied, it's from the actions being expiation or something that wipes out the sin. فَمِنْ أَحْسَنِ مَا قِيلَ فِي مَعْنَى ذَلِكَ مَا قَالَهُ سُفْيَانُ بْنُ عُيَيْنَةَ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ. So he says, from the best things that's been said in this is that which was said by Sufyan bin Uyayna, rahimahullah, one of the great scholars of the early generations, one of the teachers of Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah, when he was in Mecca. And from Sufyan bin Uyayna, Imam Shafi'i inherited the fiqh of Ibn Umar and Ibn Abbas, who were all while Imam Shafi'i was in Mecca, rahimahullah. In any case, so he says, إِذَا كَانَ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ, when the day of resurrection comes, يحاسب الله عبده ويؤدى ما عليه من المظالم من سائر عمله. That Allah will take the servant to account, and He will, everything he owes to the people he oppressed will be delivered up to them from all of his actions. So, Yawm al-Qiyamah, the people we oppress will have the opportunity to take from our good deeds. It says hadith, يَأْخُذُ مِنْ حَسَنَاتِهِ وَيَأْخُذُ مِنْ حَسَنَاتِهِ. He takes from his good deeds, takes from his good deeds. And so we need to be very careful how we treat people in this world. Even animals, if we torment an animal, Yawm al-Qiyamah, they have qisas. So a man branded a donkey on his face instead of his hindquarters. And the Prophet ﷺ said, لَهَا قِصَاص يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. She's going to have retribution on the Day of Judgment. Then after that, كُونِي تُرَابًا. The animals will be told to become dust, and they'll become dust after that. But only after they have qisas. So even be careful how we have to be careful how we treat animals. And some of these people bulldozing forests and habitat and just destroying animals, their homes. Think of the punishment they have. Yawm al-Qiyamah, polluting the water, the wind, the sea, the air, the sea, the water. La ilaha illallah. So he says, they will have deliver up what they're owed. حَتَّى لَا يَبْقَى إِلَّا الصَّوْمِ. Until only the reward from fasting is left. فَيَتَحَمُّلُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ مَا بَقِيَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْمَظَالِمِ. And then Allah will take on the the burden to pay back anyone that he's oppressed, but not from his fasting, from Allah's bounty. Because the person will not be able to take the reward of the person's fast, because that's not his, that's Allah's. إِلَّا الصِّيَامَ فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ وَيُدْخِلُهُ بِالصَّوْمِ الْجَنَّةِ. And then, after all of the rewards from the prayer, the Quran, the zakat, the hajj, all the rewards are gone, except the reward for fasting, which no one can take. He enters him into paradise on the reward of his fasting. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Brother's ready to fast all year now. Allahu Akbar. لا إله إلا الله. نعم خرجه البيهقي في شعب الإيمان وغيره. وعلى هذا فيكون المعنى أن الصيام لله عز وجل فلا سبيل لأحد إلى أخذ أجره من الصيام. He says, and based on this meaning, fasting is for Allah, being mighty and majestic, and there's no way for anyone to take its reward. بل أجره مدخر لصاحبه عند الله عز وجل. Rather, its reward is stored up with Allah for the one who undertook it. None. La ilaha illallah. So he goes on, but we want to skip ahead, inshallah. So we want to talk about the part of the hadith that says, وَلِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَةً فَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ فِطْرِهِ وَفَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ لِقَاءِ رَبِّهِ. That the fasting person will have two delights: the delight when he meets his Lord, and the delight when he breaks his fast, and the delight when he meets his Lord. So we skip ahead to the delight when he meets his Lord. So he says, وَأَمَّا فَرْحُهُ عِنْدَ لِقَاءِ رَبِّهِ. As for his delight when he meets his Lord, فِيمَا يَجِدُهُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ ثَوَابِ الصِّيَامِ مُدَّخَرًا فَيَجِدُهُ أَهْوَجَ مَا كَانَ إِلَيْهِ. So he says, as for the delight when he meets his Lord, it's based on what he will find with Allah from the reward of his fasting stored up. And he will find it when he's in the most desperate need of it. كما قال الله تعالى وما تقدموا لأنفسكم من خير تجدوه عند الله